What's up, everybody? Welcome to Diamond Owl Studios, the #1 place on the planet for music reactions. I'm your host, Paper Chase.
And it's the one and only Diamond Don Juan. We are back with another reaction just for you.
And today, banger time, because we have a new, such a little mouth, such a pretty little mouth. Today we have a new song.
I know that's what you wanted to do, isn't it?
Today we have a new song from Ren and Chris Webby, and this one's called Inpatient Down the Road. I'm actually kind of confused about the title. Can you pull that up real quick? Inpatient, Ren, Chris Webby, Down the Road. So what the hell is the song called?
I guess their group is called Inpatient. Get it? It's like a play on words, like impatient,
but they're
but
like
inpatient, like they're checked into a mental clinic.
I get that. Yeah.
Do you get it?
I absolutely.
Are you sure? Do you need me to
break it down a little bit?
Okay.
Slower.
And the song is Down the Road.
Okay, so they have is this new thing?
Well, they have that other song that we reacted to. So yeah, they're doing a collab, man.
But did their other one say Inpatient?
I don't remember if it did, if I'm being completely honest.
Well, without further ado, guys, let's get our jam on, baby.
We have no idea what we're in store for. I know that Chris Webby just released a song recently called Raw Thoughts. Did you see that?
I don't think I did.
Yeah, he was kind of going in, man, touching the third rail. So, hey, let's see. He's trying to get Kanye. Do you know what I mean? So, let's go.
I took my possession down the road. All that I own down the road. Set out at nighttime down the road. Down the road. Down the road. And with God is my witness down the road. There stood a man down the road. Dressed in the shadows down the road. With blood on his face down the road. There was something so familiar about him. A certain kind of aura pouring all around him. Looking fresh to death, his suit, it was astounding. I caught his eye and then I felt like I was drowning. Standing at a crossroad and the dull glow of the lit bowl flicker silently, quietly tiptoed on the long road, and the man spoke to me quite excitedly. Hello, dear fellow. And he tipped his hat and he smiled invitingly. Who knows why I felt this, but I felt like someone lit a fire in me. And I felt my stomach turning, I turned and I tried to find the word and concerned, and the feeling disconcerting. It's strange, but I felt this weird yearning, a craving for something that was urging me over. And then to start conversing, I reached out my hand, he shook it during. He leaned in and said something disturbing. All I gotta know is your desires. Is it fame or fortune you aspire? To get about this life that you've been living. Follow me, I'll walk you through the fire. I got every type of flavoring. You should see the budget of the catering. I don't wanna come off as a salesman, but I got the taste that you've been savoring. Let your pain go, let the flames grow. I'll read every thought that's on your mind, cause I know you got a name, so why don't you just write it on this line? Here I got a pen and everything. Who needs a wedding ring? I offer the divine. I don't think you fully understand, but I promise that you will in time, so just make a choice. So I stood frozen at the crossroads of time. Took hold of his paper and I leant down to sign.
Dang, the song goes hard, brother.
Yeah, it wasn't what I was expecting at all.
But you never know.
Yeah, you never know, but it's, pleasantly surprising. Immediately, as soon as the song started playing, I was like, oh, it almost has this like little blues undertone, and well, now we know why.
Yeah, you never know what you're gonna get with this bloke, and it's absolutely. What does bloke mean? That's not a derogatory thing, right?
You can bloke me.
Pause. But hey, man, yeah, this song is absolutely great, and I love the subject matter. I feel like we've come across kind of similar subject matters in at least like the stories we've told in some of these other artists and songs, but just to cover it so poetically.
Yeah, I mean, it's
beautiful.
kind of that I want to almost said age old, but there's that kind of myth or the story of meeting the devil at the crossroads and having this choice of selling your soul for success and fame and fortune and the women and all those things. And this is their version of that story.
Have you ever been presented with like an opportunity like that?
Sure. Yeah. Maybe not specifically, But I feel like those opportunities come across all the time.
Yeah. Well, I have a story that I'll tell at the end of this, so stay tuned, but let's get into it.
I still remember back where I was from. See, I was the favorite, the morning sun. See, I had ideas, but they said they're too grand. So they casted me out without reason to doubt. Now there's blood on my hands.
Damn.
See, I've been that one with the silver tongue. Yeah, they say I'm falling, but never run, following the calling. I've been all in with the barrel of a loaded gun, aimed at the masses, at their masses. Yeah, the darkness gon' get you. You can say a prayer if it helps you. That cross won't protect you from the light, bringing lost angel. Shit, I only came to entertain you, but since we made ourselves a deal, you gon' be my fucking puppet till it breaks you. I'ma chain you to the ground, I'll enslave you. Look around, ain't nobody coming here to save you. I'ma take you way down, cause yeah, I know I've been around, but still I got some shit to prove, and I don't really give a fuck how it's gotta happen, but just know that you gotta fucking deal with the devil written. So shut up and listen to play me some blues, and just know the choice that you made today will be the last thing that you ever choose.
Damn. Yeah, that leads me to believe that they're doing kind of, maybe it's not like a group name. It's like they're doing a collab like they did with you want to take that off the screen? Like he did with the Skinner Brothers.
Yeah.
Where it's like six,
Like a
six
concept
solo-
album type of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But man, that second verse Chris Webby had, where it was like talking about, the devil up in as an angel, and then sent down, fallen angel. That whole verse, that was fire, bro.
Yeah, I mean, there's all these like little things that he touched on where he talked about the morning sun and, Lucifer. Lucifer is the light bearer.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, I think it's an interesting concept that people, dabble with or grasp with or struggle with, which is the concept of, the Satan or temptation coming in the form of illumination or light. It looks enticing.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just this like, oh, sell your soul. Like, you know what I mean? Sign on the dotted line. It's like, oh, come to the light. It's nice over here.
But then when it's too late, you're this puppet, and it's like you're chained. You're never going to be free.
Mm-hmm.
You're stuck forever. Yeah, it's crazy. I was raised, pretty like, Christian and everything. And even though I had my in and outs and whatever, like it always like still stuck with me for the most part. And I remember like when I was first, like doing social media heavy, and we were trying to do music, and we were kind of getting a lot of pop. We had this guy who came out, and he was like our manager, and he was from Louisiana, and we were all really good friends and stuff, and we were kind of on this wave of like everything was happening at once. Like we were getting a lot of clout, we were getting millions of views on everything, and it was like happening so fast. And I remember him being like, man, like, this is what we got to do. And he started like pulling up like this article of like this fucking ritual that you can go out in the woods and do. And like basically to like directly like summon something to sell your soul. And he's like, this is what the big celebrities do. And I remember like in my head, I was like Fuck no. Like, not in a million years am I ever going to do anything like that. But the other person I was working with, like, at the time, if you guys know him, I'm not going to say names, but I'm kind of blasting him right now. He was like totally on board. He's like, yeah, we need to do that. And we were hanging out with some other people too, like some girls and stuff, and they were like all on board. Like, everybody was like instantly like, yeah, let's fucking do that. And I remember I was like, this is like crazy to me. Like, it's crazy that this is even like something that everybody would just consider, let alone just be down with.
So I have a couple different views on that, because I think there's different ways. What you're talking about is direct,
More literal.
is more literal, and I interpret this in various ways, a multitude of ways. So there's, on one hand, I think a path of just, selling your soul in the sense that you are compromising your morals. And I think those opportunities or those things happen throughout life. There's things that are presented where it's like, hey, this is a gray area, or if we just bend this rule or break this rule, hey, everybody's doing it. And those, I feel like, show up. They just show up in life. These opportunities where it's like, oh, if I do this, if I bend this, if I tell this little white lie, I can get what I want. Everybody else is doing it. What you're talking about is the literal aspect of it. I've never been presented with a literal like opportunity, or like, have somebody say, hey, do this and you will get that. No, I never have. But I'm very fascinated with this world and the occult and all of that. And to me, I believe it's real. I think that, there are people who truly believe this. This isn't, a joke. This isn't, some just like, game that people are playing. I mean, it's all throughout our culture. It's in politics. It's in music, certainly. It's something that's been going on for hundreds of years, if not thousands. And I've like looked into a lot of this stuff, and there's, it's strange. Sometimes I feel a little odd because we do music reactions, and some of the artists that we react to, I'm like, man, there's like stories about them that Aleister Crowley is like a big one. And I have been reading into like some of his practices more recently, and it gets pretty dark. But then you see like, there's a guy, Jack Parsons. Are you familiar with that? He was like a rocket scientist, a jet propulsion laboratory, very big into the occult, huge into making rockets. Like, so like NASA has like, these like
ties to all that
ties
shit,
to it. I mean, there's this guy called Michael Aquino, who's like a general that, was involved in like mind control experiments, and he was like an avowed like Satanist, like out in the open. I'm a Satanist. This is what I practice. This is my religion. No hiding it whatsoever. So I think that, there's the bending of morals that presents itself in different ways. And then I think that there's actually an occult, movement of people who really believe this.
Yeah.
And maybe it's just like a club. It's like, hey, I think there's levels to it. I think it's just like religion. You have people that are like, yeah, I'm Christian, but they don't really practice. And then you have true believers that are like, no, I totally believe this. I believe in everything, every word of the Bible, all the gospel, everything. And I think that's what you have inside of this, is that there's people who are just like, yeah, whatever. It's just, I'm cool with it because, I like the people that are in this group, and they do some weird, fun, sex orgy shit.
Well, I think it's a fact that everybody knows, especially now that we're living in the post-Epstein files era of like, yeah, the elites are fucking evil. Like a lot of them. Like there's something sick going on that we still don't have any idea or full scope of, and people are still fighting to tooth and nail to keep a lot of the shit under wraps. Yeah. And, I remember like first learning about the Illuminati and, the, God, why am I blanking it right now? The whole Masons. Yeah. Yeah. The Mason shit. And like all this crazy stuff that you learn the facts about. And it's just like, nobody even cares or wants to believe it's true. Clearly there's some fucking wild, evil shit going on. And is it directly people like talking with Satan? I don't know. I'm not going to sit here and speculate deep like that, but clearly there's some people that are very powerful, very rich, that are absolutely evil and not even human with some of the things they do.
Yeah.
Like
that's where it gets interesting, because it's like, how much of it is just being part of a club, and then is there actually real power to it? It's gets very strange. Like, you know,
Yeah.
there's people who truly believe it. They believe that they can communicate with, you know, entities and, you know, demons, and they can conjure them and get messages from them. So like goes, I mean, yeah, it's on the dollar bill. We got the Illuminati symbol. What does it mean?
Yeah, what does it mean? I remember when I first started like watching YouTube videos when I was like a preteen about like the Illuminati.
Yeah.
I remember like being like, this makes so much sense, to the point like I remember watching like 2 or 3 hours of videos and like going outside to walk my dog and being like, they're all watching me now because I know the truth.
I'm not
You
gonna
know?
lie, I love this stuff. I
Yeah.
love going down these rabbit holes. Like, this is like my shit. Like, I love it.
Conspiracy theories and
Yeah, because I just find it interesting, and you know, it really is like there is a long history and very like prominent people. Like Isaac Newton was like very into like the occult and alchemy. So you have people that are literally the most intelligent people, you know, in the world, coming up with our foundation of gravity and physics that believed in this. So it's, you know, when you look at that, you're like, what is there? Like, what attracts somebody that's that smart, that intelligent, to where, you know, I think they've said that he wrote more on like alchemy than he ever did on physics.
That's insane.
So he devoted a greater part of his life to focusing on that.
That's wild. I
And
didn't
there's
know that.
so many people throughout history that are like that are like these like luminaries, like very, you know, prominent people that you would think of as like hard science people. Like I said, like that guy, Jack Parsons, that's literally doing rocket science, like helping, you know, found NASA. And then his spare time is like going out into the desert and like doing drugs and having orgies and trying to conjure demons. It's like, bro, what is going on?
That's wild. Yeah. Oh, well, hey, you know, if you guys enjoyed this video, drop a like. And also, you know, keep this in mind, man. We're not like these other normal reaction channels that just, you just keep it surface level and stick to, you know, one topic. We like to explore deep topics and just get into the nitty gritty of life.
And I, you know, just listening to Webby's music, like it's funny because like our good friend, you know, Black Pegasus knows him and they've known each other for a long time. And he's kind of told me some of the conversations that they've had. So like, I know that he's like into the same shit. So it's like, even like what he's putting in the song is like a surface level of like what he knows. It's like he's done a lot of exploration into this world. So I'm sure if you're listening, you're familiar with Webby, you probably already know that, but yeah.
I'm not very familiar with Webby, so yeah.
There you go.
Thank you guys for watching though. Hey, don't forget to like and subscribe.
And we will see you on the next one.
Peace.